All right, so good afternoon. How are you, Mayor Powell?
I'm fine on this not so cool day, but
It's
I'm doing my
deceptively,
little rain dance, hoping we get some soon.
yeah, it's deceptively cloudy, and you wouldn't think it would be as warm as it is, but it is warm. So
Well, that's smoke from BC and or Saskatchewan.
yeah. All right, Heather Stocking here with the Athabasca Advocate with Mayor Colleen Powell, Town Talk Live. So let's get into it. Some things that came up at the council meeting on Tuesday. Let's start with the capital funding reallocation.
Oh, that's fairly simple. When we do our budget, we put a bucket of money into very specific projects, such as fixing a sidewalk, building a road, and so forth. In this case, a couple of the projects came in under budget, which we're very pleased for. And our superintendent, Graham Douglas, asked that the $45,000 that was not spent be reallocated to other projects that we had not decided to do. I'm sorry, that we had decided not to do because we didn't have any money. So they have been put into that, and there'll be things like some sidewalk repairs. There'll be some work done on the old Collington Road, which is a perennial issue. And it just allows us to get a little more of that must-do maintenance done.
Perfect. It's always nice when things come in under budget.
Yeah, we like
it. Yeah. What was the Aspen View Public Schools election agreement?
Oh, that was simple. We've done this before. The school trustees are elected at the same time as local councils. So we have quite often run their election for the school trustees as well as the town election. And that was the agreement.
Okay. All right.
If anybody runs. That was interesting because that was actually in the letter.
If anybody runs.
They didn't quite say that. They said if there is an election.
Oh.
Or something to that effect. So word to the wise, if you have kids in school and you have time on your hands, they're going to need trustees. Put your name in. It's interesting work and it's needed.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that I have an issue with any of the trustees, but it's nice to have an election.
I was told that one or two might not be running. I don't know about our area. I really don't. Because
yeah, Dennis McNeil has declared. Annie Krasmarchuk hasn't yet. Nancy Sand hasn't yet, and then I'm not sure about.
Okay, so there may or may not be, but competition is always good in elections anyway. It
is, yeah. That's what democracy is.
If you don't win the first time, you've now learned how to do it, and you can run again the next time.
Exactly, exactly. And same with town council, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, I think we're going to have 3 vacancies, but I'm not sure about that. But we've definitely got 1. We've definitely got 2 because I'm not running. Mike Airchuk had to leave council for employment reasons.
Right.
So there's definitely 2 spots. And I'm not sure if anybody else is declaring. And of course, it's an election. You get to choose. Actually, from this side of the desk, it's a different way to earn a living. Mind you, we don't pay enough to earn a living. But
yeah.
But yeah, the election is October 18th. And nomination day is sometime in September. I don't have it on the tip of my tongue, but because of changes in legislation, you can be nominated from January until that final day in September. And if you follow the news, you can see in the cities in particular, some of them are already out campaigning. I'm not living there or voting there, obviously, but one of the things I'd like to know is where are they getting all the money to put that kind of campaign together?
Well, there are a couple women that I know that are running in Edmonton have, I would say strong union ties, but they're not getting, that doesn't actually help anymore because under the NDP, they said that unions can't even offer in-kind donations. So thinking about that, I'm not sure where they're getting their money.
Well, no, it's a question you should always ask At
Yeah.
our level, it doesn't really count. Nobody spends that much money.
No,
But nowadays, you have to account for every donation. Oh, it was over a very low amount of money, so everybody has to do their bit and keep track of everything, and that is new, even if you're self-funding.
right.
I just discouraged 5 people, didn't I?
But no,
And
it doesn't have
down
to be expensive.
$100
Yeah.
as a deposit,
Mhm.
and if you get half the votes of the guy ahead of you, this is if you lose, you get your money back. If you get less than half the votes, you lose your money.
Yeah.
That's been the rule for, oh, I don't know, ever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when my mom ran for council in Barhead, I think the first time it was about $1,000 because she bought her signs, and a friend of hers made all the stands to put them on and stuff. And then, of course, the next time she ran, we just bought stickers to update the signs. So
Yeah, we only started using signs probably a decade ago. Before that, nobody used signs, but Barhead's a third bigger than the town.
mhm,
And each time you make that little jump, these things become a little more election worthy. I
Right.
used signs last time, but only for the mayor campaigns, not for the council campaigns. So, and signs are expensive. At any rate, the other thing about elections is that there will be a referendum and an election for a senator. I did that deliberately.
The quotes are important. That's
Council's
true.
opinion, this is my opinion, this is political theater, and will have no result outside of this province anyway. It's going to cost a lot of money, and I'm annoyed for 2 reasons. We don't need these things. Secondly, why are we running provincial elections? It's awful. And it takes away from our election. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we do exciting things like water and sewer and sidewalks. Everybody's really wanting to do that, but frankly, it isn't as much fun as talking about the federal issues, equalization and a Senate election.
Mhm.
But the person who wins the Senate election is not going to get into the Senate anytime soon.
Well,
And
the
equalization would require 7 provinces with 50% of the population plus the federal government. So that's not happening either.
right.
So I'm annoyed. Anyway, I will shut up.
Well, I think that yeah, both of those are issues. But the Senate process to nominate someone for Senate is transparent anyway. You go on the website and you nominate them, and they get vetted by a nonpartisan committee. So if you want more senators from Alberta, nominate more people from Alberta.
Well, no, the number for each area is set.
Well, it is, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's already there. It's already transparent. So it's political theater. We have a couple of events coming up here.
Isn't it nice to talk about events after being sort of closeted for the last year and a bit?
Yes.
The Jet Boat Rally is on Saturday. This is a yearly event, and the farmers market will be next to the senior center and the old pool in that parking lot area there.
Okay.
So if you're coming to buy your tomatoes and you run into boats, you'll know you're in the wrong place.
So yeah, up by the kind of behind the old brick school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is Parallel 54 Adventures. And Janine Cargus and a couple of other people in town, or in the area anyway, have organized this. They did it in 2019, and they're part of the Alberta Triathlon Association. So this will be a bike, paddle, run, sprint event. And I didn't see the one for this year, but I looked at another one and it said 14 kilometers, 18 kilometers, 10 kilometers. You have to be pretty good to do this, but it should be a lot of fun. And I think they have age group ones as well. So they'll be on the riverfront. they'll be on the Muskeg Creek trails, and I think that's where they're going to do the bulk of their events. So we're hoping for a good turnout there, and they'll have to talk to the farmers market about, again, how they organize this. They didn't realize the farmers market had grown and had become bigger, and I'm really pleased to see that too.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so 2 events, September 11th, and you can be a participant, or you can stand and watch and go, phew, as it goes by.
Yeah, I did an interview with Janine and Heather Boucher, and so yeah, they said they took this last year and really refined what they wanted with the feedback they got from the first one. But very exciting that, yeah, 2019 was their inaugural event and they had 100 participants.
Yeah.
Like, that's fantastic. And they said that some of these people have come back to camp and whatever since, because now they've been here and saw how great it is.
Exactly. And River Rats also, and you're president of the River Rats, so kudos to all of you who organized that day. You had quite a successful day. I was pleased to see all your volunteers in orange t-shirts, because the unmarked graves of children are going to be haunting us for a long, long time, and we have to come to terms with it rather than put it on page 5 of the paper or whatever.
Mhm.
They've just found another 160 in Vancouver Island, and there's going to be more found, and it's shocking. And I did say on the radio yesterday, you know, we've had boarding schools in this country for years. You usually have to have a bit of money to go to them. I don't think there's even one dead kid in those boarding schools, and they're certainly not non-marked graves. That's all you need to say.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yes, thank you. It was a successful event. We figure around 400 people of all ages were throughout the day. So yeah, it was very nice to see that many people come out for basically a last minute event with only a month to plan. So,
And one day after the restrictions are lifted, so.
the very day it fell, we were, yeah, they announced it like what, 2 days or 3 days before, 2 days before, and we were like, whew. So yeah, very different, but yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking those last few days. AU advocacy, what's happening with that?
Well, we're gearing up. I'm not on the committee. Rob Belay is on the committee, Mavis Jacobs. I could name a whole bunch of people, but this is a community group. So there's Rotarians, Lions people, Chamber people, ordinary people who don't belong to anything, who are advocating for Athabasca University to hire people to work in our buildings in town here. And the town has participated in this, hired a lobbying group called Canadian Strategy Group. These people do know their stuff and they know the people involved. So we are hoping to get some response. And I would encourage anybody who understands how important keeping the 300 jobs we now have here, which is declining literally every day, to write to not only our MLA, but to the Minister of Advanced Education, Nicolaides.
Mhm.
I think I got that right, and the Premier.
Mhm.
They need to know. We have some template letters, but you know, your own letter is better.
Yeah, change it up, make it personal.
Change it up. So there will be some activity. We will be discussing these with people in government. The group did speak to the university administration, but it wasn't as successful as they would have liked.
Mhm.
Actually, it wasn't successful, period. So there you go.
Okay. There has been a response. Didn't you get a letter back from the Premier?
Yes, telling us to talk to the Minister of Advanced Education.
Okay.
But that was a standard response that was sent out to everybody that sent letters in. So that's step one.
Right.
That's only the beginning. That's where you start. And then you ratchet it up from there. You don't just send a letter and expect a response. But the fact we actually got responses means that a lot of letters did go in, and the more the merrier.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. The pressure, you need the pressure, the public pressure. That's really the only way things get changed. Concerns about the amount of doctors in the area.
Well, we're not in danger yet, but a lot of communities are. I talked to the mayor of St. Paul, and at one point in the last year, they lost 9 doctors. 2 anesthetists got married and wandered off. Somebody went on mat leave and didn't come back, and on and on and on and on. They're now back. They've got a number coming in. They're having trouble getting a number of locums, to doctors who replace doctors on leave. And they've got a number who are waiting to be assessed, and they don't think they're going to get assessed till October. They've had to close their emergency several times. Actually, the village of Boyle did as well. So we're not there, but we've lost 2 doctors, Dr. Esterhusen and Dr. McKenzie, not because of the doctor fight, but for other reasons. But we haven't had anybody come back, anybody come. And we've got 2 doctors that are close to retirement and may be retiring in the next year. That means we have to look for a potential 4 doctors. So we had a meeting with the county in Boyle, and we're talking about some things we could do, and it was suggested we have to meet with the doctors. They may still have contacts, and often these are the contacts that you end up getting people. I think the problem with us is that most of our doctors have been here for a sufficient period of time that those contacts overseas are no longer there.
Right.
I don't know that. We'll find out. So we're meeting with them, and a lady called Grace Hatchie, who is the recruiter for our region. And we will be making a plan. Do we bring back the doctor recruitment committee we had a few years ago with a slightly different twist, because now we don't need to find money.
Right.
That's taken care of.
Grace is with Alberta Health Services.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So it's a beginning, and it's going to take some time, but let's charm the socks off these guys.
Yeah. Well, and start now, because you can't wait till the last minute.
Well, this is it. So the proverbial canary in the coal mine is still on his perch, but he's beginning to gasp a little bit.
Yeah. I know you might not know the answer to this, but the wind blew down the fencing around the reservoir, or on the west side of the reservoir, and the tennis courts.
Yes.
That's on the list, but
that's and I guess they have to put it into a better base than was there. I mean, we get those kinds of winds, once a decade if we're lucky. And I know the last time we had 150 km/h winds, and I had 6 spruce trees out front of my house, well, those ancient ones. They were all down.
wow.
House protecting them, but the wind just went, and they were gone. So
Wow.
yeah, these things happen, and it's just got to get replaced. And we do need a fence there. There has been some vandalism up there.
Oh, that's too bad.
Not major stuff, but kids doing
still
things.
Yeah. There was a letter from a concerned citizen about property tax payments. Have the suggestions in that, will that possibly trigger a review of how people are allowed to pay their taxes?
We tend to disagree with the letter that the thing is, our budget is January to December.
Oh, okay.
The tax year is June to June.
Okay.
So you pay for the first, but that's only for the first year. After that, we're not making any interest on the payments afterwards. Mm-hmm. So no, we noted the issue, but and interest these days is about 1%. Okay. But that's not the point. The point is that you're not really losing money paying it this way.
Well, let maybe explain what the concern was.
That you are paying the first year, January to June is a lump sum, and you're paying on last year's amount. I'm not making any sense here. I wasn't ready for that
The
question.
assessment
so I
from
gotta
last year is
answer
what,
it
yeah,
when I have all my stuff in, but the problem is the tax year and the budget year are different. The tax year is June to June, and that again is not our decision.
okay,
And our budget year, again, not our decision, is the year January to June, January to January, December.
December, right. So yeah, your town fiscal year is the calendar year
Yes,
and the tax year is in the middle of that. Okay.
yeah.
And so they didn't like that lump sum payment
No.
to start, and
But
it's a one-time thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing the monthly payments forever. As soon as they came out, we started doing that. And yeah, so you're paying on last year's for the first 6 months and the present year for the next 6 months. So in fact, in terms of our budget, there is no interest really being made.
Okay. Okay, so, but is that a one-time thing or every year you pay that?
No, every year, after that, I just remember paying that lump sum at the beginning because we went on it fairly early on.
Oh, okay.
But it's a monthly amount after that forever. Unless
Okay.
you miss your payments on your utilities, then they won't let you do it.
Oh, okay. All right.
More than one payment missing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The letters of support for the RCMP. So the town's gotten several letters, county's gotten several letters, about 27, 28 letters probably. You've started like a pro and a con list, haven't you?
I started that. These are letters from other municipalities. These aren't letters from individuals. So we started seeing 4 or 5 of them every agenda, thinking, I thought, wow, there's a real campaign going on here. And it's not something we've discussed, but the province is certainly seriously looking at a provincial police force. And we haven't got our own minds made up yet about which way is the best way. And if you look at the pros and cons, there's some with each of them. Right now, under the current agreement, the provincial government pays $242 million a year for RCMP, and the federal government pays 112 point something. Now, after they ratchet up the money that municipalities are paying, that is hidden in your property taxes, another bugbear of mine, the municipalities will be paying $200 million. Now, I'm not sure who's doing what to whom here or where the money's coming from, but if we go to a provincial police force, that 112 million has to be made up.
All right.
And I have a feeling it's through us. A provincial police force, we set up our own commission, we decide the priorities, we decide the staffing. Would we get more staffing in rural areas? I don't know that. I think it depends on how much it costs. Now they've said 400 more boots on the ground. If you look at the number of communities that have RCMP, that's probably 2 per unit. Maybe a few more. I mean, the city of Red Deer uses RCMP, for example. But we got 2 more. It's still not enough.
Right.
At least an area the size of our geography. Are they doing the right thing? We don't know that. So those are a bit of the pros and cons. With the RCMP, you have an already set up training facility where people have set salary benefits and pensions. But that RCMP is full of issues right now. They're in the newspaper all the time. So there's serious issues within that organization. Here, we're getting new recruits for the most part. Now, I don't know if that's universal or not. I don't know that. We could set up our own police force because we will be contributing between the 2 communities roughly $800,000 to the RCMP funding in 2 years. And I'm unsure about that. Again, we set up our own commission, we direct what they do, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. We can afford year one. I'm not sure we can afford year 10 when people get experience and expect raises. So those are the sort of Cole's notes of what we have to discuss over the next year or so. So the province knows what we think. Now, these 27, 28 communities are determined that the RCMP is the best solution. I don't know. But it's something we should all be thinking about. I know there's problems with crime. I know there's problems with homelessness. So that, you know, there's two ways to look at this. I don't know if a provincial force would be better, about the same, or worse. No idea. To do it just because we're Albertans would not be a good reason. And saying, well, OPP and QPP have been there in Ontario and Quebec, they're doing just fine. They've also been there since Moses was in short pants. You
Yeah,
know.
true. Yeah. Okay. What's going on with the water pipe, the intake pipe? Do you know where?
They're supposed to be in there now, like in the next week. They gave us, I think it was a 10-day window. And we had discussed it with the jet boat rally in case they're in the water at the same time. But it should be put in very soon. $4.6 million.
Yeah.
The tenders came, I mean, we got complete grant coverage for 2.7. Then when the feds and the province finally got their act together and we got the final thing together, we put the tenders out and the costs had nearly doubled. Well, it went up by 2 million.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's happening everywhere. Every
our
project
scientific
is.
person is still trying to figure out why a pipe in the water is going to cost that much money.
Did you find what's happening with the old brick school? Did you find a member at large?
We've
Or?
got, yes, John Trainer, Ida Edwards, and myself are the council representative. Margaret Anderson, Mike Gismondi, and Shirley Stashko are the community representatives. Margaret and Mike are both with the Heritage Society and have experience in renovation and, more importantly, grant writing, and they can access grants we can't.
Right.
So as a provincial historic site, we can access grants for the heritage portion of the building, but not for heating, plumbing, electricity, which is job one. Those all have to be upgraded.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah, it's like
start the meeting in August, and then a couple of times in September. October's the election, and then they'll have to have new councillors on there.
right. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of new councillors, yeah, we only have probably a couple more town talks left before the election, and yeah, 2. Yeah, our next one, knock on wood, hopefully, if things stay open, will be face to face. We didn't do that this time because I wouldn't have had my tech crew, Pam, with me.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Actually,
So,
this is becoming too easy.
it is. It is. It's very easy. Part of me is very happy to work at home and do this one too. Yeah.
I think you caught everything. I actually am supposed to be in a public works meeting. Oh, we were told by the province that the tenders are going out for the bridge across the Athabasca in August.
Okay. All right. Yeah, some preliminary work has been started there. With, yeah.
That's the big stuff.
Okay. Wonder why they would start that when they don't even have the tenders out, but whatever. That's a
they've been working on it. They've been getting. I mean, we actually got a nice piece of land for that from them in exchange for ditches and verges.
Right.
Which amounted to a fair bit of land actually, but we couldn't use it. But now we have a piece of land, which we're happy about.
All right. Oh,
on your calendar.
Alexa, stop.
Lindsay Zoom.
Alexa, stop. Sorry, my device. I have Alexa set up to tell me my schedule.
Out of that. I just have to write it down. At any rate, if there's nothing else, I have to zoom off.
All right.
In
Okay.
person
Thank you
meeting.
very much. Have a good day.
Okay,
Bye.
have a good month, everybody, and let's hope for some rain
Yes.
and be careful.